Have you ever felt anything in your life being shaken and you just felt like running? Well, the truth is, if you've lived long enough in this life, you have certainly had that feeling before. But the reality is, everything in this world and in your life at some point will be shaken. Relationships, marriages, careers, churches, government, institution, finances, you name it, everything in this world will be shaken. And the truth is, you can't control any of it, but what you can control is you and your reaction to it. So how do we deal with it? Well, we have to make sure that our hearts and our relationship with God is grounded and that we are relying on Him for our strength. I've been reading the book of Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 21, Isaiah has this vision. And it's vision of the fall of Babylon. But remember, if you go to Revelation, Babylon is also spoken, but as in symbolism of the world and a great kingdom of darkness. And here's what Isaiah is saying in chapter 21. A stern vision is told to me. Pangs have seized me like the pangs of a woman in labor. I am bowed down so that I cannot hear. I am dismayed so that I cannot see. My heart staggers. Horror has appalled me. The twilight I long for has been turned for me into trembling. This vision, this thing that God is showing Isaiah has brought him such great turmoil. But listen to what he sees, what's happening with the people. He says they prepare the table, they spread the rugs, they eat, they drink. They're just going about their normal life and they cannot see the shaking and the darkness that is about to be happening. And over again in the Old Testament, God is constantly rebuking his people for making alliances with other nations, for running here or running there, trying to draw strength, trying to draw in more military power, relying on their human resources and human strength instead of relying on him. He says to people, I am your strength, I am your resources, I am your provider. Look to me. So when we know that everything in this life will be shaken at some point, and how can we make sure that we are grounded in the Lord, that we are relying on God and his power and not ourselves or worldly power, not in the physical realm? So you can ask yourself these questions for worldly power. Am I relying on something else other than God? Okay. First question is, what do I want? How do I accomplish this? Relying on myself to make it happen. Can you see the correlation here? I, myself. The focus is on ourselves, what we want, and we're trying to make it happen ourselves. That's how we can know we're actually relying on ourselves and worldly power and not God and his power. So how can we know if we're relying on God's power? We ask ourselves these questions. What does God want? How does God want me to accomplish this? Because we have to remember, not only does God tell us what to do, but he tells us how to do it. And then we can understand that our relationship and continued fellowship with the Lord, that there's reliance on his spirit and power to make it happen. So not only is God telling us what to do, he's telling us how to do it, and then we as God's believers are asking him for strength and power to do it, to walk it out. It's him with us, not us doing it by ourselves, but him with us. Let's go to Revelation. Revelation chapter 17, verse 3 through 5 says this. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written the name of mystery, Babylon, the great mother of prostitutes and earth's abominations. Now, I thought about this. Why in the world is Babylon described as a prostitute? Now, a prostitute is someone who gives sex in exchange for something else, right? But here's the thing about sex. It is not just a physical action. It is emotional, it is mental, and it is spiritual action. There is a complete connection on all levels with the human with the act of sex. It's intimacy. And what does God call us as his people as the greatest commandment? Love the Lord your God with what? All your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and all your strength. You see, there are worldly things out there that will draw us in, not just by our physical bodies, but by our minds, our emotions, and our spirits. Every part of us. We have got to make sure that we are guarded and that we are relying on the Lord. Here's another way to look at it. If we start from a place of self and worldly things, then our focus, our mind, our attention, our energy goes towards our sinful nature, which we're supposed to be walking by the Spirit, right, as believers. It's going to make it, we can't follow God if we're starting from a place of self and worldly things. We just continue to live and yield to our sinful nature. But if we start from a place of God and His kingdom, what does God want? Then our focus, our mind, our energy, our attention, our spirits, our emotions, all of that will be directed towards the Lord, and we will be Spirit-led. That's where our actions will go. You see, God deserves and desires all of us. So I challenge you with this question. Are you growing in your relationship with Christ? Or are you just picking up and moving to the next best thing that looks more secure, looks bigger, looks better, whatever? But are you truly relying on the Lord? Because He deserves all of us, every part of us. Are you trusting and growing in the Lord? And are you relying on God's power and His strength?